Okay, quick video here that actually was brought to mind by someone who left a comment. Title is Help, I Feel Lost. Such a good, quick thing to talk about. I'm going to try and keep this short. Usually, I think 90% of people out there feel this way, whether they realize it or not. Um, I would say that, in short, what needs to happen is, again, it comes down to attention. The reason you're feeling lost is because your attention is scattered, and it could be that you're not aware of your thoughts, you're not aware of your attention, and when that happens, you're kind of like a slave and you're being dragged around. I have a list of things that I've written down over the years, and I keep adding and filtering, editing it to make it more and more powerful. And this list is basically, I have a list for when I'm depressed, if and when I'm depressed. Let's say when, because it's part of life. There's nothing wrong with it. I have a list for when I feel lost or scattered, And my lost list is basically a list of all the things that that help me find myself, that bring my attention back to here, to myself. And these activities are such a huge relief for me. For me, my list is things like drawing. When I draw, all my attention is brought here. I no longer care about what others are thinking or doing. I don't care about the world. I'm right here and I'm thinking of my drawing. And creativity is an incredible tool. If anyone out there is creative in any way, use it. But I can tell you that getting distracted for a really long time, I went through this, can make those activities that brought so much power into your life and focus and into your life. When you're distracted for a very long time, it can make those activities like drawing or for me music boring, and you'll be like, these aren't interesting. These things aren't interesting anymore. And for me, the big distraction was girls, right? So, long story, but so my list is drawing, playing my guitar, going hiking, basically just going for walks, jiu-jitsu, training, martial arts. Let's open my list up real quick and I'll tell you what else is in there. Um, Surprisingly, writing affirmations, journaling, meditating, of course. I love jumping in the ocean, that's one of mine. You'll think this is crazy, but cold shower, that's not for everyone, but taking cold showers is an incredible thing. Really good for your mental health and your physical health as well. Watching spiritual videos, although that one I would say you gotta be careful with, I'll tell you why later on. Giving, huge one. Praying. Praying, when I say that, I'm not religious in that sense. You can look at prayer as like making affirmations. It's just all about communicating with yourself. It's all about conditioning yourself. It's kind of like a computer doing an update at the end of the day. For me, that's how I see prayer. Prayer is like you're updating your software. You're digesting what the peaks and valleys, the ups and downs of the day, and you're kind of like formatting, updating so that you're ending the day, going to bed with that that content. I'm not going to say positive, that content, peaceful, okay vibe. So yeah, so getting lost is all about think, thinking and caring too much what others are doing, what others think. So basically, you got to retrain yourself to come back to doing activities that are for you. So increase the activities that similar to the ones that I mentioned. Yoga is a good one, climbing, tennis, any sports, yes, football. Um, there's hundreds. Rock climbing, swimming, anything that is about you, surfing, it's about your journey. So increase those activities more in your life. There's a lo- I would say the majority of people are unable to do that. And that's why you'll see so many people out there who are going to clubs, going to bars, and so much of their entertainment revolves around alcohol or, parties. And I've done this so much, and I've been involved with so many people who do this and have no ability to like be creative, write, draw, you know, aren't into sports, and all they do is just socialize and party. And most of them are extremely lonely and have, you know, I guess their issues are to the point where they feel like all they can do is keep doing what makes them feel better, which is, you know, to be around people, to be like in this rat race. That's how I see it. It's like just this race, this rush of who's having fun, who's having more fun, who's doing what, who's in, who's here, who's there, what did you do over the summer? It's all crap. Yeah, it's all crap. It's just this huge competition, and it's linked to our survival because the way that it works is, you know, basically it's out of fear. It's people living out of fear. Hello, come check this. I don't know if any of you have seen some of my previous videos, but this this one was a little baby. Now look how big. Look how big she is. She's big now. Massive dog. But still cool. Aren't you cool? Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Famous now. So, animals. That's another really good one. Having an animal, because that brings your attention to yourself, your own journey. And, you know, I think, look, the thing is, there's nothing wrong with partying, with being around people, with, wanting to interact with your environment, but it's more important to be able to be able to like do your own journey and um, come even go down to be content with yourself, because at the end of the day you come into this world on your own, you're gonna leave on your own, okay? And the more and more you start to depend on other people or other things around you for happiness, the more the suffering in your life will increase. That's what I've found. When I was spending more of my time working on music, writing music, drawing, just spending more time for myself and being happy and content with it, I was much happier. Or I'll tell you this, I'm not sure if I was happier, but I for sure was more at peace. Thing with happiness is it's you've got to watch out, because happiness isn't something that sustains forever. Because happiness has its flip side, which is sadness and depression. Crazy example here, but let's say when you have sex and you have an orgasm, it's like, what is that? That's like incredible, blissful, happy feeling, right? But just like heroin or most drugs, that has its flip side. And they're not sustaining. And the good news is that sadness doesn't sustain either. So one of the things on my list for when I'm depressed is this isn't going to last. This will end. And it will end. Okay? So happiness, sadness go up and down. You will experience it. I'm sure you have several times of happiness, several times of sadness in one day. In the week, the same thing, up and down. But what does sustain, is when you are able to kind of step back and observe happiness and sadness. And that's the, that's the peace, that's the awareness. Anyway, I got a date, so see, I'm being distracted, but real quick. So, how not to lose yourself? You've got to keep checking in with yourself. So when I'm around people, I will try to like check in with myself and be like, what would I do right now if I was on my own? Of course, you're not going to walk around naked and be crazy, but let's add some balance to the mix. So if I was on my own, I'd probably like do things, do other things, walk around the room, check, whatever it is. I have to allow myself to do that. And if I'm going to try to do that while, still thinking what others are in the room are thinking of me, it's going to be really hard. You've got to like shut down that what other people are thinking of and just do your thing. And I have had so much success with this. A great example is going on dates. Rather than thinking, what does this person think of me? What should I say? What should I do? Your attention's outside of you, and it's fear-based. And it's very difficult to do that. Very difficult to control someone else, to make someone like you. All you can do is control yourself. And I tell you, like, you will be so much more attractive when you do it. So if I'm in a date, sometimes I'll just be like, well, I'll check in with myself. I'll be like, what would I do if I was on my own right now? Well, I would relax and I would enjoy this view and I wouldn't be talking as much as I am. So then, boom, I'll be like, try that. Tell you, like, if you do that, you start welcoming, you start inviting. And it goes back to my previous video, about when you are chasing, seeking, trying, that's a fear-based way of living. But when you sit back, enjoy, just be, no longer trying to impress, trying to get anything, that's when you start welcoming and inviting. Things will come. I've had so many experiences when I've checked in with myself on a date or I'm around people and I do this and I just suddenly become quieter and more relaxed. But my body language is what's important. My body language becomes comfortable and inviting, and then people will interact. It will happen. So yeah, just something to think about. I thought it was going to be a 5-minute video. It's like 12, 13. Maybe I'll edit these at some point, but cool. I'm going to go head off to my day, and the purpose of my date more is to practice these things. Like I want to be in a place where I'm comfortable around people, but bringing myself into that environment. And I'll leave you with some advice someone gave me that was so good. It's really good for social anxiety or anything else like this, which is all you need to do when you're around people is just bring yourself into the environment. That's amazing enough. Just your presence is enough. So write that down, remind yourself. Just your presence is enough. You don't need to talk. You don't need to be the funniest person. You don't need to be the coolest person. You don't need to be the smartest person. Just simply your being there is great. So when you take your presence out into the world, just be okay. Be like, man, I'm bringing my presence to people, And even better if you can maintain that comfort and, with yourself. So go out in the world and then just be comfortable and, making mistakes in front of people is great, and being okay with that is a great thing. All right, I gotta go for real. So take care. See you guys soon.